This is Battlefield 4. We're on Xbox Series X. The game actually has a 60 FPS, and it actually keeps to that entirely now, which is kind of awesome. So we're starting with the campaign, and then we're going to switch over to the multiplayer that still has active players within it. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'll also mention that this does have support for auto HDR, so that's kind of cool as well. It just kind of cleans up the, well, it just kind of softens the lighting in the images a little bit more. It just makes it look like a nicer picture. And the game does actually kind of hold up. I mean, it's a little jaggedy around some of the edges, or like little things on the window and stuff like that. But for the most part, it actually, you know, sort of runs quite well. And I mean, the fluidity and stuff is nice too. It's kind of cool. And I mean, visually, I think it's a fairly impressive offering. So this one had an interesting campaign. I actually kind of like the characters. I mean, we'll never really see them again, I suppose, but I did actually kind of enjoy the narrative on this one. And I played quite a fair bit of the multiplayer component, which I'm looking forward to kind of showcasing. But yeah, it's nice to have it actually running with a good sense of fluidity to it. Looks like we're getting ready. Yeah, this larger scenes are where you can see some of the edges start to appear a little bit more. But yeah, we had to start from the first level because my campaign progress isn't there or something. I don't know. It was weird. I couldn't replay any of the levels. It just let me start from the beginning. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, we'll show off just a bit of it, and then we'll jump into the actual, again, multiplayer component, because that one's kind of really cool in this one. And this is a neat title because I've seen it on 3 generations now. So obviously we're not seeing like an upgraded, truly upgraded version of the game. But, you know, it was cross-gen, so I played it on 360. Then I did like the $5 upgrade last gen. It's good that it's free now. And, yeah. And now we're actually getting, you know, a little bit of a more boost here. And it looks that much better, which is kind of nice. It's just neat seeing a game across so many generations, and I kind of wonder, you know, how many generations I'm going to actually end up seeing some of these games. You know, how many different times I'm going to end up playing them over and over again. It's very interesting to consider in the long term. But let's think about the now and kind of see how it's running and everything like that, which is obviously a lot smoother with the overhead performance and everything like that, and it's cleaned up a little bit more too. Yeah, I just remember being absolutely blown away by the difference when you came from the 360 to this. And I think you even had to get like a data pack or something on the 360 hard drive, which was like crazy back then because the space was way different. But yeah, it was kind of nuts. Like you actually, because you used to just run off the disc, right? Now you had to actually add like a pack on your console hard drive. It was crazy. And then you go on the Xbox One and you're like, what? Look at these like performance changes. It's insane. I can't jump out the window. Did he jump up here? Is there like a platform or something? Huh. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's nuts. And then I remember just like feeling that this was so next gen at the time. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Especially in comparison to what I had seen previously. It's kind of nuts. And I still think it holds up, you know, respectably well. Obviously it's not perfect. That's just going to be the case when it comes to, you know, older titles, right? They're not going to be insanely upgraded. And I mean, it's not, well, I guess it's actually quite old now, because it was from the beginning of the last generation. Time just flies. I feel like myself, I've gotten really old. Because then when you start seeing some of your games celebrate like 10 years and stuff like that, it starts to weigh in on you. Jeez, there's a lot of guys here. Different difficulties and stuff too if you want to play that. Larger focus on destruction in this one. Neat environments, kind of an epic stage war that you kind of roll through. And again, a good focus on individual characters and locations. And again, it's very much your typical sort of campaign where it is very much sort of linear in design and style. And you just kind of go from there. Hi guys, you gonna come down here and join me at some point? Or are you just chilling around doing nothing? Seriously, like what's going on? The destructible environment? What? Oh no, I need the that, and then I go to the second gadget. What are we gonna do with the destructible? Are we gonna blow this wall up? Whoa, look at that! That next gen feature from last gen where things explode. And Yeah, it's kind of crazy. You get different gadgets, there's different weapons, and this is like kind of a really sort of wow moment at that time. Just in terms of seeing, you know, this like large scale environment, and there's like a whole driving sequence and everything like that. It's kind of, it was really nuts at the time, you know. It was a big thing. I think that was kind of exciting. And then we're moving through extraction, and it kind of like catches up and stuff. It's just remember this being like such a wow moment. I was like, whoa, that's intense and insane. And you jump down into the water and the reflections and everything. I was like, wow. Yeah, I know about the detection thing. They know we're here. We're like standing out in the open. Let's be real here. But yeah, it just had like intense, big scale action. I just remember it being so exciting and cool at the time. And yeah, the big Battlefield game. And I can't wait to hopefully be wowed by them again at some point, because you know they really have delivered some really visually groundbreaking set pieces and designs. I think with that, we're going to switch over to the multiplayer component to show off a little bit of that in action, which is kind of cool. But yeah, just a huge area here. So cool. And there's like a whole set thing around this whole spot. It's nuts. So here we are in the multiplayer component. We're on the locker, so you know that's going to be an absolute treat. This obviously has large-scale conflict and battles. And we're in a hardcore server as well, because I thought, hey, you know, this one's going to be kind of fun. There's limited options, but there are, you know, just a great selection of maps that were present in this one. Large, open scale environments with vehicles and combat. And this is going to be really heavily focused. Now, I would like to show the regular gameplay, you know, with the map setup and that. But obviously, just for the particular situation today, we're just going to kind of deal with it and work with the hardcore. Even though hardcore is, I think, was something that was the preference when I went and played these back in the day, just because people take so much damage and stuff. But yeah, this is going to be pretty epic. It's just like a really kind of fast-paced, focused combat. You know, everybody's like really pushing into this area. It's not a true showcase of the game, I guess you could say, multiplayer-wise, but it definitely, you know, kind of showcases the random, intense action that can happen when you concentrate too many people in one area, and it feels insanely awesome. Like, the bottlenecks that would build up here were just absolutely crazy. Where did I get shot from there? That's weird. You kind of die really fast and stuff in this one, which is hardcore, so that makes sense. Is there still a person up there? There we go. And there's like a whole outdoor snow area. Like, it's kind of weird being in this area, because, you know, like the regular version of the game lets you basically explore, well, not the regular version, but regular maps. You get to like visit these large, sprawling land masses, and this one's just like heavily focused on throwing you into like tight spots. It allows a little bit of play in regards to like going outwards, and there's like a whole snow area, but you're just like the vehicles and stuff like that are not, you're just not getting that sort of thing here in comparison to other maps. Oh jeez, it blasted me. But you know, it still plays pretty good, feels pretty good. It's great that there's still individuals playing it. I didn't realize the Battlefield games had such a hold, because I was playing Battlefield 3 prior to this. I don't know which one I'll put out first, but yeah, I was just surprised that people were still playing this one, but I mean, or playing that one, but this one, yeah, still also surprised, because, you know, there's been so many Battlefield games since. It's just kind of interesting to see the community still rallying around, I guess, the ones they really liked. I mean, I still visually think this one is kind of impressive. It's obviously not quite as intense as the later ones that followed it, but, you know, for the start of the generation, this was a really pretty game. I remember looking outwards and being like, whoa, look at that scale, what? And now it's just kind of like, see it all the time, but yeah, I'm sure I'm really hoping that the next gen Battlefield really does something crazy. I'd really like to see, you know, how they push things further and what they do with it, because the series has had a lot of big wow moments over the years. I don't know about spotting, jeez. Unbelievable. But yeah, it's just kind of like tactical action. I think the green dot laser sight kind of really gives me away, but it's cool looking. What did I get killed from? On the side there? Well, that makes sense. I don't know what to say. It's just kind of like running decently well for what it is, and the server options that are present. I mean, there was a few options. I just remember seeing the locker title, and I was like, yes, this is the way. High tickets, long gameplay time, playing with squads, doing the different classes. You know, there's just lots of ways to jump into the action and have a really great time in this one. Let's try to get the revive. Remember, you gotta cook the thing too. Oh, jeez. That was kind of a little intense. Was not expecting that. Yeah, it's just kind of like really epic modern combat, which I think was kind of enticing. I hope they do maybe eventually go back to that at some point, because it's just sort of gripping the way that Battlefield did it with the destruction and everything like that. I'm just curious how good their new game would look, you know, their new modern game. Because we've seen gorgeous historical titles from them. I'm actually glad we have gotten a few of those. But I just want to see really what they could push technology-wise today, and with the new generational consoles, as long as they don't do the cross-gen thing, I think we could really see some gorgeous sights. And even now, I think this game still kind of holds up as having some really big set pieces, some very detailed environments for its time, and some impressive like performance as well. At least now it's running quite cleanly. I saw that little wire and I wasn't sure if it was just like a squiggly thing, but yeah, I walked right into that. I was expecting more of a bottleneck, honestly, in regards to like being pushed into the middle there. Instead, we kind of just have been holding them to the back area, which is less fun because it's better when there's a more of a back and forth push, because they can get just, well, it used to get insanely frantic at those bottleneck points. I keep running into claymores and stuff. It's ridiculous. I'm not liking it. You just get all these people just piling into the middle of the map, and it's just absolute chaos and insanity. Yeah, we're holding them back so well. It's kind of like, oh, come on, guys. What are you doing out there? Give us a bit of a push challenge, you know? I don't want to feel like we're holding you back. Although it was fun to just kind of like battle away to guys and just kind of pick them off, even though they're just spawning and stuff. Kind of like dominating the map, but yeah, oh jeez, what was that? I got shot in the back? I think I got shot in the back. There's tons of guns, tons of levels. You can play this game for way too many hours. It's kind of, you know, a little ridiculous how much you can really... Oh, I do definitely remember that being a thing, getting blasted and getting revived. This was a lot of fun with friends too, you know, getting the vehicles. I mean, doing the siege was really awesome too. You know, like big building, it explodes and it like falls down and we're like, whoa, did you see that? That's like... I wonder if we could do that with multiple buildings now. I think that would be pretty cool. I should actually see if I could jump into like a siege of, I think it's Shanghai. That would be a really neat sort of option and endpoint for this one. At least I think so. Ooh, they're hiding everywhere. So this is the Siege of Shanghai level. I definitely wanted to show it off because it's so cool. I don't know if the building in the middle is destroyed yet, but we'll try to jump in there. It's actually like a full server too, which is kind of nuts. Like it's the full lobby, high tickets, kind of wild. I had to wait in a few second queue to get in here, but so it's worth it. So it's worth it. That's funny. What a weird thing to say, seriously. But yeah, it's just kind of, oh jeez, what's coming up? What's going on there? I'm getting blasted from something. That's not cool. Not cool at all. So many vehicles, a lot more action in this one, you know, it's just like a lot larger scale, a lot more destruction too in regards to like shattering glass, breaking buildings. And then, wow, that was a weird reflection. Oh yeah, and then you go in the elevators where it's so funny. You get to the top and people just like throwing grenades in and stuff. It's just kind of humorous. Yeah, I remember that being a big thing, and there's so many snipers, so many people sniping. It looks like the big building in the beginning, or in the middle of the map has fallen. That's disappointing. Yeah, you just like gracefully fly down on a parachute and stuff. It's sort of hilarious. I remember having such good times on this map and this game back with my friends when the console first launched, because we were like, whoa, Battlefield. Yeah, it's still definitely got a certain bit of charm to it even today. It's very neat. Oh, and the swimming too. I remember the swimming being really cool. It's just weird that this feels not as massive in scale anymore, which is just the strangest things. I remember it being such a crazy effort at the time. It was mind-blowing how much things you could do in it, like in terms of the multiplayer and the size of the maps and the epic action and how much better it played and looked. And oh yeah, we could get on the ski-doos and stuff. They really did have fun with this. Yeah, I know about toggling fire modes. I hate that some part of my cloud save didn't carry over or something. That's just so strange. But yeah, you just kind of battle away, try to capture things at sea, in the air, on land, on foot, in vehicles. And then you can battle however you like. It's just kind of really cool. It still feels pretty epic. I don't know. It's probably a bit past its prime these days, but it's still got a community that checks it out and plays it, so maybe the later Battlefields weren't quite as enticing for everyone, I suppose. I don't know. Anyways, Battlefield 4.